Welcome back, golfers. Today I'm going to help you better understand how to hit up on the driver, so stay tuned. Golfers, we're back out here at beautiful Dairy Creek Golf Course, and we're talking about our driver today, how to get more power with it, how to hit it with less curve, and that all starts with learning how to hit up on the ball. So today I'm going to give you my 5 keys to help you better understand and better produce an upward angle of attack with your driver. So why do we need upward angle of attack with the driver? And the reason we want it is because anytime you're hitting more down on the golf ball, it's going to create more backspin. More backspin can create more curve of the golf ball. And when you hit those drives out in the fairway and they look so good and they just land and just stop, it's because you have too much backspin on your drive. So we want that ball to be coming in a flatter trajectory so that it hits, and then we can maximize the roll on our shots. So how do we hit up on the ball? And number 1 key today is going to be in our setup. If we don't get our setup right, it's going to be really hard for us to hit up on the ball. So starting out with setup, the first thing we got to look at is our tee and our ball. How high do we tee up that golf ball? So what we want to see when we tee up that ball is that at least half that ball is sitting above the equator of that golf ball. So if the ball is teed down too low, then it's going to make you have to go down and hit it on the bottom of the swing or on the downswing. With the ball teed up high enough, if you do go down and hit it on the downswing, you might get the ones that it kind of hit at the top of that club head, or you might even get the skies off the top of the club head. And we don't want that. So what we want to be able to do is when we come into it is have the club rising up, upward angle of attack, rising up to get to that golf ball. So the next part of setup we want to really concentrate on is ball position. If I put this alignment stick down, I'll better give you guys a better understanding where the ball position's sitting in my stance. And what we're looking for is we don't want that ball position back here in the middle of our stance. That's going to make us have to catch it on the downswing or near the bottom. The further up it goes, we might start looking more at the bottom of the swing. Now we want to get that ball position all the way to the inside part of our lead heel so that we have time to allow that club to rise up to the ball and catch it on the upswing. That's what we're working on today. So let's put the ball to the front part of our inside part of our heel. After that, we're going to get into how the body should be placed in setup. So what we're looking for is we think of our sternum or our spine. If our body is in this tilt, we are in a negative spine tilt position. And that's going to make it so when we come down, we're going to be catching it more on the downswing. We want to tilt our body so that spine is aiming right about at the golf ball. So it's going to feel like your lead hip is going to bump over maybe a touch. You're going to feel that shoulders a little bit lower in that trail shoulder. And you'll feel because those two parts move, pivot point being in your pelvis, that's going to allow your spine to not be curved, but have that nice straight spine position, but aiming at the position where your golf ball is. That's going to allow us to have the ability to catch that ball on the upswing. So my second key to making sure we catch it on the upswing, and that's head position. In a golf swing, we want our head to be very still. And with the driver, it's a little bit different because I'm going to use this alignment stick to help you guys see this. We're going to position our body with that spine tilt we just talked about in the setup. And then as we come through, what I don't want to see is your head moving into impact and working this way. So you're more on top of the ball. So the alignment stick will help you see where my head is at. What I want you to have is that your head stays pretty much right where it's at. It can move a little bit back, especially if you're left eye dominant. Your head can move back, which will increase your spine tilt. That will allow you to catch the ball more on the upswing. Because our path of our swing, if we move this way with our head towards the target, then it's going to catch the ball more on the bottom of the swing. The further back we stay with our head, the pendulum of the swing will naturally catch it on the upswing. So keep that head behind the ball the whole time. Key number 3 to catching that swing on the upswing, and that is our shoulders. So when we're getting into ready to hit a golf ball, like we said in the setup, you have a little bit of lower shoulder tilt on that trail shoulder. Now as we come into the golf ball, what's going to happen is we want that trail shoulder to lower more to allow that spine to kick the hip out, number one, so it's up to our lead side, but it's also increasing our spine tilt. So as we come into the ball, because we have more positive spine tilt, that allows us naturally to catch it on the upswing. All right, key number 4, and this is an important one. I talk a lot about our footwork. Nothing changes really when we're talking about the driver. When we're hitting a driver, we need to make sure we have really good footwork, but there's gonna be a big change because we have what we've talked about with the ball position further up. We have more positive spine tilt in our body. The weight in our feet is gonna be different. If I'm hitting an iron, I'm gonna be 70 to 90% left at impact hitting those irons because I wanna catch it on the downswing, compress the ball, hit the divot on the other side. But when you're hitting the driver, it's like you're trying to hit it, make a divot on the behind it, but we're not making a divot. So what we wanna be able to do is set our body up, and then as we come through, because we have that extra spine tilt, the extra positive spine tilt, we're gonna feel more weight centered in our stance rather than far up to our front foot. And that centeredness will help stabilize our body and allow us to keep rotating to a good solid finish with our chest a little bit more up in the air rather than down or forward. So weight's still gonna transfer back. We're still gonna feel that transition for that weight centering up, but because our hips are going to fire and our right shoulder is gonna come down lower into that position, the weight's not gonna shift to our front side as aggressively. It's gonna stay more centered until you get to the finish and post up on your lead side with hopefully good press forward with your hips and chest hopefully a little bit up. There's okay too. We just don't wanna be back into that position because anytime that your head or your weight shifting too much forward, you're gonna now catch the ball on the downswing or with forward shaft lean, and that's gonna create more side spin, back spin, and then you're not gonna be catching on the upswing. All right, made it to my 5th key, and the 5th key today is in order to catch the ball properly on the upswing, it helps to get a proper club fitting from hopefully a club manufacturer at a demo day. They do a great job. They bring out their electronic TrackMan or any of those Doppler radar systems to help get the right numbers on spin, on launch angle. Because if you're hitting the ball really low and then you're trying to catch it on the upswing because you're using too little loft, then your ball's not going to stay in the air as long. If you hit it at a nice high trajectory, but you're getting too much spin, the ball's gonna look like it's just floating up there and it's not gonna go anywhere. We want a nice high trajectory, somewhere between 13 to 15 degrees of launch angle. And we want that spin rate to allow the ball to stay up in the air, but be driving through. So for me, I typically hit it at about a 14 and a half degree launch angle, and my spin rate's around 2200 in the spin rate. So that allows my ball to get the maximum length. It allows my ball to come in at a shallower angle towards the ground And because the spin rate's fairly low, it allows it to run out on the fairways. And that helps to maximize your distance. Using those other keys that we talked about, that's gonna get you in the right ballpark for getting the right spin. If you go to a fitting, they'll probably start talking about these same elements as well, because they want to maximize your distance so you can get into a driver that will increase the distance that you had from before. So go get yourself properly fit at a club fitter that's certified and knowledgeable about how they're doing it. So I'm going to give you a simple drill to allow you to get the same feedback you would as from a launch monitor telling you what angle of attack you're coming down at. We want to be catching on the upswing, so this drill will allow you to get that same feedback. So all you need is 2 tees. So you're going to put your golf ball in the ground and look out how high that tee is off the ground right there. Then you're going to grab another tee and you're going to place that tee about 8 inches, maybe 10 inches in front of that golf ball, and you're going to put it at the same height in front of the ball. So now that you got 2 tees that are fairly level, if you drive through this golf ball and you hit this front tee, it's telling you you're catching the ball on the downswing. It's going to create the extra spin and might even create more curvature off to the side if you have side spin on it. So what we want to do is use those first 4 keys that I told you. So we're going to get into a good setup position, set our body tilt. When we're swinging, we're going to make sure our shoulders working under and our head is staying behind the ball. If we do that, what we're going to see is an upward angle of attack on our swing. We're going to miss that front tee. We're going to have a lower spinning, driving golf shot that will get maximum roll. And that's what we're trying to look for when we're trying to get the right launch characteristics from your swing. So golfers, take these keys, do the drill, and test out how you're doing in your golf swing. Remember, if your feet aren't working, your swing's not working. Catch you guys next time.